go through this. So before we go over the entire demo and do a lot of technical things, just wanted to take a couple of steps back, understand like why do all of this? Like why spend next half an hour going through a simple demo, which is like Postgres to Iceberg to Doris. Uh, let's be honest, setting up a data lakehouse with Iceberg isn't really straightforward. There are a lot of moving pieces. You need to finalize a catalog, you need to finalize your ingestion layer. Within ingestion layer, figure out the CDC and like Debezium, Kafka, Spark streaming, or Flink, or then you need to understand how the schema evolution will happen. Then you need to, of course, think about like the object store, how the optimizations need to happen, and then finally some query layers. Of course, we are at Doris, so but at the same time, we still need to figure out how the multiple query engines will work together with each other because we are talking about Apache Iceberg. So if you're just getting started, it can take a couple of days or sometimes even months to get to that first select star statement and understand how exactly Iceberg works. So not exactly a big fan of like spending huge amount of time to actually get started. So that's why I wanted to just give a quick walkthrough within like couple of minutes and show like how you can get started easily. So a simple walkthrough which includes like Postgres. For the catalog, we are just using a very simple REST catalog given out by the Tableau team themselves. And then we have Menio to simulate the S3 buckets or object store. And then we have, of course, Doris and linking, let's say, the Postgres to the Menio or Iceberg. We are going to be using OLake to do this today. Uh, Feel free to like test out different object stores or different catalogs. Doris supports almost all of them. OLake supports almost all of them. Other than Postgres, if you have any other database, feel free to like kind of replace, experiment with it. But this is a simple walkthrough just for the engineering team if they want to just get it started with Iceberg, Doris, and database kind of pipeline. So once again, not going to spend a lot of time. We have all heard about Apache Iceberg, but this is the official like definition of Apache Iceberg that is written in their own documentation. It's basically an high performance format for huge analytical tables. TLDR is basically a metadata layer on top of your Parquet files written in our object store, solving some long standing pain points with traditional high Hadoop style tables, where we get like schema evolution, hidden partitioning. So if you're those one of those engineers who have had to change the partitioning from days to hours because the data volume just grew a lot and needed to rewrite the entire table, come to the Apache Iceberg side of things, it's just much more easier. And then you get asset transactions, column pruning, predicate pushdowns, better metadata planning just to like reduce your query time, better query optimizations. And then, of course, you have a native upsert, update, delete, merge kind of support as well, which is pretty useful when you're trying to like replicate your data warehouse kind of applications on top of a data lake. So these are the tools we're going to be using within this demo. We will have a source DB, and I've just set it up most of these things up front because I didn't want to go a lot of setting up time during this demo. But we have written an amazing blog on how to set up most of these things, and I'll share the link over it in the chat as well. Feel free to go over it. But the tools that we're going to be using within this demo is basically Postgres as a source. It's a standalone instance just for this demo. And then we have OLake, which will do basically the sync from Postgres, discover the tables within that Postgres, and starts writing into the Apache Iceberg kind of formats. And then we have object store. We are using Menio to replicate the S3 behavior. And then for catalog, we're going to be using the native REST catalog by the Tableau team itself. Of course, for query engine, we'll be using Doris. Duh, we are in Doris Summit. But if you want to like have an experiment where you are doing some transformations using Spark and then final queries using Doris, feel free to do that as well. It's pretty easy. Pretty straightforward to do that as well. Before we go over the demo, just wanted to do a quick intro of OLake because you might actually get that idea that I might be talking about it for a couple of times. So don't want it to be a very big change. OLake is basically a lightweight CDC engine, which is built specifically for databases and Kafka kind of sources to Apache Iceberg. So if you have data in Postgres, MySQL, Mongo, Oracle, or Kafka, or actually even more sources coming up soon as well, and you want that data to get replicated into Apache Iceberg for any catalog out there, it's a very simple, lightweight, plug and play kind of a system. No heavy infrastructure required. You don't need to set up Debezium. You don't need to manage your Kafka pipelines. You don't need to set up your Spark streaming or Kafka Connect or all of those things. Pretty straightforward, very highly configurable since it's purpose built for lakehouses. It manages your partitioning, file sizing, schema evolution, maintains the exact limits delivery, and so on. But it's just open source under the Apache 2 license. So for all the open source enthusiasts like me, feel free to go check it out, experiment with it, play with it. And if there's any feedback, feel free to reach out. But going ahead with the demo side of things, this is the flow that will be going. Uh, I know I'm kind of repeating myself, but just wanted to be a little bit cognizant about like how exactly the next couple of minutes would look like. We'll have a Postgres running already. Then we'll basically ingest it using OLake. There's a catalog which is already set up. I've done most of the setup upfront, but this is exactly how the flow looks like. You have ingestion, then you basically have catalog, and then you have storage, which is basically your Menio to replicate the S3 behavior, and then you have finally Doris, which is used for the query. And finally, it's demo time. Believe me, I'm also like this right now. So just giving you a quick walkthrough, like before, because we have set up most of the things, I didn't want to really go over directly, give a quick couple of commands and show you the demo. We have written this blog. I'll share the link of this in the chat as well, which helps you do the setup, which I've already done. It's actually not a lot of tasks, not a very big task. It took me like 15 minutes to do all of this. It's basically setting up some parameters like map count and all, and then doing a git clone. To be honest, that was the longest time wait when I was doing all of this. This took the most amount of time, but of course, Doris is an amazing project, so it is justified to spend some time to clone and go over this. And you basically once clone it, we're going to be using the sample given by the Doris teams themselves for Iceberg and Python. So not a lot of things that you need to do. Most of the things are already set up for you within the sample as well. And then you basically do a quick bash start, and that's it. Most of the things are set up. For OLake side of things, it's a single command. You say basically you do a simple Docker compose up. Basic prerequisite to all of this, you just I'm running all of this on a simple EC2 instance with a very small 4 GB RAM, 20 GB disk kind of an instance because I'm just doing a simple demo. Of course, for production purposes, you will need a little bit bigger instance. I have a Docker installed on this. Of course, some basic familiarity with Linux commands always helps. And that's it. Like once you are able to do the Docker compose up of OLake UI, it's simple, a single command, and then you set up an SSH port forwarding to basically see all of this within your own browser as well. And that's it. I was on this step basically. This is the point till which I've done before this demo. Now I'll just basically go ahead and do the next steps. So assuming you have gone through all of this, you will have an OLake UI running. Basically, you will do a quick login. And the first step is basically setting up a quick source. And base for this, I've already set up a Postgres, as I was talking about. It's a simple standalone instance and be a SSL and simple, as you can see, like very simple config. You once you add that, that's it. Then you go and set up a destination for this, as I was talking about, we are using we're going to be using a REST catalog to set up like the simple iceberg kind of a destination on top of Minayo. Of course, you can use any other catalog you want to use, let's say Glue, JDBC, Hive, or any other type of REST catalogs. Feel free to do that as well. OLake supports most of it. Doris supports most of it. So you're in good hands. And the next step is going to be creating a job, which is nothing but a simple connection between the source and the destination. You there's an temporal included within this the OLake instance. So all you need to say is, I want this job to be running every minute, every hour. You can write a custom cron as well. For now, I'm just going to use every week, just because this is a one-time thing. And I'm going to use an existing source. I was just the one which I was just showing you. Quickly test the connections, check out the network, and all of those things. Same goes for destination. Uh, we do have SD compatible things as well. So if you don't want to do, let's say, entire Apache Iceberg, you want just your Parquet files and your destination as well, that's also possible within this tool itself. And you basically choose, okay, destination. So once again, simple testing of the connections. And yeah, so right now what it's doing is basically doing a simple discovery command, where it's basically looking at, okay, what all different schemas are there, what all different tables are there, how do you want to sync it. I'm just not going to sync everything. Of course, just going to take a simple small table. I know for a fact there are just 5 6 different records in this, so I'm just going to sync this. There are multiple different sync modes. You want to put some filters on it. You want to add a partitioning to it. You want to add a schema into this. All of those things is definitely possible. And that's it. You go and say create a job, and job is created. So I'm going to do a quick sync now, just to like quickly get the data from that source into the destination, which is REST catalog on top of Minayo. And I can see the logs, most of it. Okay, as I said, like 5 6 different records. Sync is already completed. Heading over directly to the Minayo side of things. Uh, yeah, so basically we sync the entire thing into the warehouse. There might be some 1 or 2 steps extra, which I might have actually gone over it, which is setting up of Minayo as well. It's not a lot of the things you need to set up a simple warehouse, and within the destination you can actually set up. Like, or when I was showing the destination, if there was a job benchmark public, which we're going to be using right now. And the table which came within it, we can see there's a data, there's a metadata already, which is just now there, and that's it. All of the dog data is here, and yeah, I can quickly walk over to the Doris side of things. Let me SSH into my terminal. Quickly going over the things that I've done already. Basically, I did a simple SSH into the terminal, which is this one, and then basically went over and started the Doris client. I'm just using the sample given by the Doris teams themselves. So the simple bash command to start the Doris client. Came into this, checked out different catalogs, what all different catalogs are there, and then switched to the Iceberg catalog because we just synced into the Iceberg. And then basically we went into checking out different databases, using the database that we just synced the table in. And we checked out different tables. Of course, we synced only one, so we're just going to see one only. And just doing a simple select star. And we have the data. So it's that easy. You be basically synced. There's a Postgres terminal. We got that small table synced into REST catalog with MinIO, and then we have that table being queryable by the Doris team. So it's that easy. It took me like a couple of minutes to do all of this, and you can do multiple things. You can have multiple tables. You want to do joins. All of that is possible within Doris. Uh, and basically it's takes a couple of minutes to do the entire setup. I didn't need to go over the setting up multiple tools, setting up multiple platforms. It's basically a plug and play kind of a way to start getting started with lake houses. Moving back to the actual presentation as well. Just gonna So yeah, demo gods were with us. We were able to do the successful demo. We basically had in Postgres. We used OLake to basically get that data in Iceberg on top of Minayo and REST, and we were able to query it using Doris. Everything happened within a couple of minutes, I guess. If it took a little bit more time, sorry about that, but it's supposed to be less than 2 minutes. And this is what all basically and just within OLake, what all exactly happened, because of course Postgres to Iceberg magically didn't happen. There was some initial backfill, full refresh, ways of doing the discoveries to understand what all different tables are there in Postgres, creating the table within the Iceberg, registering it with the catalog, uh, orchestrating the pipeline so the table freshness remains in the SLA that we want, and then of course schema evolution, upserts, and all of those things. But you don't need to really worry about all of those things because only kind of abstracts away most of these things for you. And all you need to do is basically have your source and Iceberg in a kind of like a sync, and then from there you can use Doris to basically start querying the data. The I was just talking about this. It's basically the high level architecture that we just talked about. Basically, you have source drivers within the core. You have like you need to when you're working with Iceberg. Couple of things that you need to really care about is like the data types. Iceberg doesn't really support all the database native data types, so you might need to do some data type management. Then, of course, file sizing. You cannot have like very small files because like the performance gets impacted, and the Iceberg queries will start getting slow a little bit. So of course you need to maintain the file sizes. There's different maintenance jobs of icebergs as well, for example compaction, vacuuming, and all of those things. And then you have basically different ways of like getting the data in as well. For example, if I'm serializing the ingestion, basically it's going to be very slow. If I let's say imagine 1 terabyte data in Postgres, and I'm serial writing this 1 terabyte in my Iceberg, it's going to be very slow if I'm not doing this parallelly. So most of these things are handled by OLake today or in coming couple of months, and basically in the final, when at the time of write, it creates the snapshot, it registers the table, anything and everything which is required. Most of things are handled by the OLake. So why I'm talking about it over here is basically a simple, like if I've just to put a simple number to on top of this, if you're doing the full refresh, particularly for Postgres, it's we have seen the benchmarks going as high as up to like 320K rows per second. It can actually be much more higher than that, depending on different data types. For CDC side of things, we have seen about 40,000 rows per second. We're about 6 to 7 times faster than any other player in the market. It's fully open source. It's Apache 2. So for a fast query engine like Doris, you want a fast ingestion engine or CDC engine for your database to Iceberg. OLake is the thing for you. Um, and basically, what exactly we did in last couple of minutes is simple. Got a simple running pipeline from your source database to Iceberg to Doris. It's a very simplified view of getting started with lakehouses. And if you want to start doing some prototypes, want to start playing around with basic Iceberg kind of properties like time travel or other things, it gives you a simple, smaller instance to do some prototyping. Of course, hands-on insights and all of those things are available. Coming up next, particularly on OLake side of things, there are more sources coming up. For example, pretty soon we'll be adding Kafka as a source, ClickHouse, S3, and a couple of other sources are in pipeline. And we're going to be adding a little bit more things on table optimization, table maintenance side of things as well. On Doris side of things, the team has been amazing and giving support for most of the catalogs. So that's actually pretty amazing because I don't need to stick to either REST or I don't need to stick to like any one catalog to use Doris. Upsert support is something which is pretty much interesting as well. Kind of waiting for V3 support coming in Doris as well. So kind of fingers crossed, we're going to be seeing that soon as well. So that is practically all from my end. Feel free to reach out on LinkedIn. These are the benchmarks that I was just showing. We are open source, so come over the GitHub, give us some stars. We love some stars. If not some stars, give us some feedback. Do check it out. Do test it out. That would be amazing as well.